This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Joel Kim Booster about Loot. How are you, Joel?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. We had the chance to meet in person yesterday. It's nice to be continuing the conversation. I must say that your cast, everybody is very, very nice. I don't think a lot of them are like their characters, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I love to brag about working on Loot because there really isn't a stinker in the bunch. And it's all like I don't know, there's no one goes to their trailer in between takes. Like we're all it's not like we're all like best friends or anything like that, but it is nice because like we all sit and like there's a lot of we're educating Maya on TikTok. MJ is playing Pokemon. Like we're all making fun of Nat a little bit, and it just is. It's a real. I feel really lucky that I get to work there, because I have worked on a lot of sets where nobody likes each other, and it is a slog to get through, but it's a real joy.
Well, it sounds like some of those are similar to their characters. How much are you like Nicholas?
Um, I think that there is a part of me that is a little bit like Nicholas. I think it's a little bit sort of blown out on the show. Like, listen, like in the past, have I been a little emotionally closed off to relationships? Yes. Can I be a little biting? Yes. Like, do I like nice things? Absolutely. But I think that there's a lot missing. Um, from my actual personality that sort of evens out some of those more abrasive parts of my personality. But um, yeah, I don't know that I'm as cruel as Nicholas can be, or as like I'm a little bit more empathetic. I definitely in real life care much more about the mission that real life missions that people like the Wells Foundation are trying to forward, and especially in the city of LA, and it's a huge thing for me. So yeah, there's definitely like little things that are similar that I've definitely added to the character, and things that I came to the character and they had already sort of fleshed out and decided based a little bit on my persona, on stage.
So, is it as someone who is empathetic and just overall a good person who cares about others, does it feel strange to be sort of sending that up with this foundation that can't really accomplish what it's supposed to?
No, because I don't think that Um, I don't necessarily see it as like a send up of nonprofit culture or anything like that. I do think that, you'll see across season two, like there are some successes, there are some big successes. And I think, for us specifically, like it's a comedy first and foremost. We're never going to center like the real life human drama that is affecting LA as much as we are going to center the comedy of the show. But Matt and Alan, they really did their research. They talked to um Nithya Raman, who is a council member here in LA, a progressive council woman who I worked very hard to get elected when she was running back in 2020. And she has and her mission is ending homelessness in this city. And she has a lot of really great ideas. And they went to her and literally were like, season two, like, what would you do if you had $1 billion? Like, how would you fix this city if you had $1 billion? And the entire space for everyone idea came out of that conversation. She was like, I would just immediately start buying hotels and cutting through and sort of ignoring a lot of the bureaucracy that can get in the way of some of these solutions. And so in that way, like I don't see it as a send up. I do see it as sort of the context through which we do a lot of the comedy, certainly, and it's running in the background, but it is not I don't think we're making fun of charity by any means.
I like that. I like how you say that it's inspired by real life ideas of what could happen, but that comedy is still first and foremost. So it's
Right.
not a comedy about what they're trying to do. It's about these people existing in this space and what might happen if they were the ones who, ran the world or whatever it is we think is happening in this show. So
Right.
that's a good way of saying it. What is it like working with Maya and just having such a close relationship? Complicated, sure, between the characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dream come true, honestly. It is the greatest privilege of my professional life to get to work so closely with Maya. I think, I grew up idolizing Maya. Maya is a huge reason I do what I do now. I've said this before, but I think like the general sort of rule of thumb or conventional wisdom on this is that the SNL cast, when you were like 13 to 16, is always going to be sort of in place as the most iconic cast in your brain forever, no matter what happens. And for me, that is very true. I mean, it's for me, it's Maya, it's Amy, it's Tina, it's Rachel Dratch, it's Anna Gasteyer. Like those were the heavy hitters when I was coming up and watching SNL and really falling in love with comedy. And particularly Maya's sketches with James Anderson, who's a prolific and legendary writer at SNL, who created Gaze in Space and a lot of other sketches. You can look them up, you can Google them. But I think like that sensibility, Maya's sensibility has always been so formative for me. Like the kind of stuff that she was doing on that show when I was coming of age, and the kind of stuff that she was drawn to really did shape like what I thought was funny and what I wanted to create as a comedian. And so, going into this project, I was really nervous. I was really concerned because I was like, well, if she sucks, then there goes my childhood. This is going to be really hard. This is going to be a really difficult process. But I'm so pleased to announce to the world and the internet that Maya is great and normal and so funny and so gracious and so generous with the rest of the cast, is an incredible mother. I mean, that is always sort of the thing that sticks out to me the most, is because I've worked with a lot of people and a lot of people with kids, a lot of parents. And in this industry, it's hard. It's hard to be present and it's hard to really be involved. And it is not, there are no nannies in Maya's life. It is very much, she is the one who is driving her kids to soccer practice and dance class and going to the recitals and doing all of that. And she does a really amazing job of juggling it all. And that's really aspirational to me in a huge way. But yeah, no, she's great.
Really nice to hear because I feel like, as you said earlier, it's like you don't always have, ideal circumstances with people. I also keep picturing the burrito in the Good Place whenever I think of her. That's just my sort of go-to tethering moment. I also really enjoy the relationship that the men on this show have because Arthur and Howard both, I think, have a tougher time getting through to society about what's important to them and how they interact. And while Nicholas is not always a kind-hearted, warm helping hand, I think it's been fun to see over season one and season two just how he's been able to help still.
Yeah, I think these were not the friends that I think he had envisioned for himself for a long time, but I think he sort of let go and just sort of like let it take him, this entire situation. And you do see that they bring out a lot of the good in Nicholas, and I think that it is a for them, for Howard and uh Nat, Arthur, it is like you have this weapon and how do you use it for good? And I think so much of my character's arc is about like redirecting some of that energy for good rather than for evil, which is I think what his MO has been up until this point. And so it's been a fun, and that makes it really fun for me because it's not like a complete 180 on the character. It's not like, oh, suddenly season two, he's an angel and he is so bought into the do-gooder attitude and everything like that. No, what they've had to do is they've had to kind of figure out a way in which to sort of like twist and present to him these ideas and how to get him on board in his own way. And it's been really fun to play that.
What do you think will surprise audiences most about Nicholas's journey in season two?
Um, I think that we peel back a couple of layers with Nicholas, certainly. I think we get to see a little bit more of why he is the way he is in season two. And I think that there is a lot of stuff with his family that I think for Nicholas, like he thinks that he is self-actualized, has arrived at like his the best version of himself. And I think like what we learn in season two is that he is slowly learning that maybe he hasn't dealt with all these issues, and maybe he hasn't, uh, really arrived at his highest point yet. And so I think it's fun to see that realization happen.
Obviously, everybody hopes that their shows will go on forever and last a long time. Is this a character that you think you could play for many, many seasons?
Yeah, I do. I think like I trust Matt and excuse me. I trust our writers, Matt and Alan, to continue to grow the character in really interesting ways, and find more depth, and to find more interesting angles and directions to take the character. And so, um, yeah, it is not a taxing role to play. I will say that it is fun. I get to work with my hero, and I get to work with my friends, and this is something that to be quite honest, like the show just feels like easy mode sometimes. You show up to work, everyone is there to work, everyone is there to make a funny show, and then there's no ego, and everybody goes home on time. Like it's sort of the ideal environment to work in, and I'm very grateful to be a part of that.
So got a lot of awards attention for Fire Island pretty recently. What is it like to have these two projects sort of existing so close to each other?
Um, it's different. I mean, it really is. I think like for one, I was really surprised at some of the attention that Fire Island got. Like it wasn't something that I ever envisioned for myself. Certainly not an Emmy nom for writing. That was a big shock, I think, for me. And I don't know, this, like, I think we're all just sort of supporting Maya in the show. Like, I don't, uh, I, I am not, I am not like holding out hope, that, there's that I'll be nominated or anything like that. I think that, it's a real honor and a privilege to be, a member of Maya's like support team. And because her work on this show is so incredible and so sort of like, I don't know, it's the culmination of like everything you want to see Maya Rudolph do in a grounded context is like she's bringing it, and she's doing using all of the tools in her toolbox, and just to be a part of that in a small sense, and like hopefully get her that win is huge, I think, for all of us.
I think that's true, and I think Maya is great, but I also think that when I see only, a lead actor or actress nominated, I'm like, people should be looking at the supporting cast. There are all these great players there. So I
Right.
wouldn't sell yourself short. I think there's definitely, a lot of excitement. I also, as soon as I knew I'd be talking to you, I was like, wait a minute, I think you announced the nominations for the Spirit Awards, which I know is like a very niche thing, but I remember you and Natalie Morales were there, and it was just you seemed very into it. You got all the names pronounced correctly. I'm like, that was I don't know, is that a formative moment of your life, or that's just something that happened? Like, was there more to it for that?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't say it's formative, but for me, I love moments like that because those awards buzz and attention is so fleeting. It comes and it goes, but it is nice to feel like I'm a part of that community and a part of that family. Like for them to, even though I didn't have anything that was even eligible to be nominated at the Indie Spirits this last year, it was really nice of them to just sort of want to include me anyways. Both in announcing the nominees and being a presenter at the awards, like for me it is a nice reminder that like just because your season of award circuit whatever for whatever project is over doesn't mean that these people just disappear from your life. And I think yeah, it's nice to be around and feel like a part of that community.
While we're on the subject of awards, aside from Maya and Lute, is there another project or performer that you think is especially awards worthy, this Emmy season?
This is recency bias. I will fully cop to that, but we just finished Baby Reindeer, and I think Richard Gadd did something really incredible. He the writing on that show, I mean, it's very much in the same lane as a Fleabag or a I May Destroy You or something like that. but I think like it is so good. I want to look up the actress's name too, because I don't want to leave her out because she's so incredible in this. Um Work internet, please. Okay, here we go. Jessica Gunning. Richard Gadd and Jessica Gunning, I think, together in this show, it's such a fantastic limited series. I think that it really does make some choices, and he the story goes in places that you don't expect. I think you start watching it and you're sort of like, okay, I see how this could go or how this will go. And I think what it really makes it special is that both its empathy towards its, I guess de facto villain of the story, um, really makes it complicated. And then also, he's a very complicated character. He in no way valorizes himself in this story. I think he's very raw and honest about his part in this situation, and how he, almost encouraged it in some ways and needed it in a lot of ways. And I think that's really, it deals with a lot of issues really, really uh, in ways that I've never seen them handled before. And I think that everyone should check it out. And I think it's going to be huge.
Appreciate that thoughtful take. And I'm definitely curious also. I see you have a whiteboard behind you. Are these like story ideas? What do we have here?
Oh yeah. That is yeah, it's just a sort of, I'm outlining something right now. And forgot to flip it before the interview.
It's out of focus. Don't worry, I promise. What do you have coming up next? Anything you can share?
Well, I mean, it was announced. My next feature is at Searchlight. Again and again, again. We are meeting with directors right now. We've met with some really promising directors, and it's really exciting to get back into this space and this headspace of putting together the team and figuring out, what that's going to look like. Because I just know from Fire Island, like Andrew On's involvement. Uh, Radically changed the course of that movie in so many, in innumerable ways, in ways that I can't even put to words. And so uh and I don't think I knew that when I was interviewing directors for Fire Island, because it was my first big project. And so now going into this second feature, it's really like every interview, every time I talk to a director, I'm like, this really is the most important meeting of this movie's life. Like this is really what is going to sort of, this decide the trajectory of this film. And that person coming in and their eyes and their collaboration, really, I'm really excited to finally land in the right person, because I really want to get going and make this movie.
Well, I wish you plenty of luck with it, and I hope we see lots more of that and loot and everything else. Thank you so much, Joel.
Thank you very much.